a talented fella and with an unusual but really cool talent. His name is Steve Herbst, Steve the Whistler Herbst. And Steve has a story to tell because he was on television, on network television, just a few weeks ago. The show was taped months ago. There, oh my God, Steve, you got a backdrop. That's so cool. And Steve, I think you have to unmute. So click the button. Let's get your microphone going. Give a little whistle. Give a little whistle. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Do it.
Fine. How are you this morning, Dave?
I'm great. I'm great. I love that. I love that red curtain. You look terrific. How you feeling? How are you? Are you fully vaxxed? I'm sure. Are you good?
I was fully vaccinated last March
Right.
and feel fine. Thank you.
Thank God. Thank you. But now it doesn't even. You can be fully vaxxed last March and still get friggin' Delta. And has it let you? I mean, how close to normal is your current life versus last March, April, May?
Well, I guess you could say going out to dinner more often would be when you say compared to last March, or like of this year or a year ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant 2020. Like 7, 15, 14, 13 months ago.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously, we were way more concerned with what was happening and giving people a wide berth.
Well,
you know.
yeah. But and actually, that's a fair question. The way you put it, are you doing something differently now in August than from March and April when Delta just sort of seemed like nothing?
Well, actually, I started working from home with my day job in March of 2020 because there was concern,
Huh?
and that's become the norm now.
Do you like it? Do you prefer it, or do you miss
Well,
one, especially in what you do? Yeah.
there are pros and cons. On one hand, I don't have to worry about travel time
Well, yeah.
or travel expense. Even though that's nominal. Uh, and
Well, it was never nominal, but okay.
you know,
Yeah.
a year ago, a year and a half ago, my clients were, more apprehensive, or they weren't quite used to, doing things online, via Zoom or some other platform. But people have gotten used to it.
Yeah,
You know,
and in some ways it saves them commuting time and saves them.
I've had clients tell me they prefer telehealth to because they don't have to take the time, they don't have to spend the money.
Right, and you can sit there. You're relaxed. You go to the computer. You're in. You throw on a schmata. You have a little cup of coffee, and instead of like going into an office building and a suite and a this and that, and having to wait and a waiting room, and it's sort of like, no, I'm just going to step over to my little corner, and maybe they're more open in that fashion. Do you think, or not?
Well, I don't know about more open, but I found it to be increasingly comfortable for the clients.
Well, good. And
Because
and for you too. You've gotten used to it. You're liking it.
your
Yeah.
viewers are probably not aware, but my day job is I'm a psychotherapist.
Okay. I didn't want to, but thank you for explaining it. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to mention that.
Yeah.
And basically, the reason I have you on the show is that I want you to analyze me. This is saving me $150 an hour. So please go. Anything you want to say about old Dave? In public. Is psychosis behind the eyes, or
I think that would be against HIPAA regulations.
would it really? Well, I'm giving you permission. I'll sign something here. Let me just sign with. Here's the dignity pen that they gave me when my father died. See, there it is. So yeah. So let me have it. Let me have it. Narcissistic? Vaguely depressed? Yeah. No,
Good.
not homicidal.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's one of the things we have to rule out: suicidal and homicidal ideations.
Suicidal, no. Homicidal sometimes. Wife says passive aggressive for sure. Definitely passive aggressive.
Is that whom I hear in the background?
Yeah, that is my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, who joins me every Saturday for Dave's Gone By. We're here with Steve the Whistler Herbst. Now, and notice I'm pronouncing your name since last time with a much more German sort of Herbst. You see, am I doing that?
I did notice that. By the way, do you know what Herbst means?
You mentioned it last time, remind me.
It's a German vocabulary word for autumn.
Oh, my favorite season, honestly.
I thought
So,
it meant like tree or fall.
der Herbst. Can you whistle Herbst leaves? Da, 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 da.
Autumn leaves.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't even know the song.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Probably do that. Anywho, speaking of whistling, one of the reasons we wanted to, to have you on the show today is last time you were on, which was only a couple of months ago, you hinted at, you teased at the fact that you were going to be on television, network TV. And we were saying, well, what are you going to be? I said, I can't say. They said, well, what kind of thing? I can't say. I said, all right, fine, whatever. But a month ago, they finally aired the episode that you were on of.
To tell the truth.
I honestly didn't know they brought that show back. I didn't know there was a new To Tell the Truth, but there is.
Well, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
they brought it back like 3 years ago.
Mm.
I mean, those of us of a certain age can remember, the original episodes that were hosted by Bud Collyer, and I think Kitty Carlisle was one of the panelists and so forth. This rendition, which has been around now for at least 2, if not 3 years, um, is being hosted by Anthony Anderson. Anthony is the star of Blackish.
Oh, okay.
He plays the father on Blackish, and they have a rotating panel each week. So you have, when they started out before the pandemic, they had 4 panelists each week. Since the pandemic, they've got 3 panelists so that they can have them socially distanced on stage.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Got it.
And like, I think one of the most fun aspects of the show is that Anthony's mother, Mama Doris, is on the show each week, and she is a riot. She is a real,
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I
you
do
know,
like that.
she gives her opinion on things. She votes on who she thinks the real hero is, but her vote doesn't count in terms of the final score that the panelists get. And the one who has the lowest score for guessing who's the real one gets to wear a crown with a big D on the top for dummy.
Man.
And if there's a tie, Mama Doris picks the one that she thinks should be the dummy of the week.
Oh my.
Wow.
So it's very funny, and
Oh, yeah.
and I was really hoping that Mama Doris was going to be there when I got there, and she
Yeah, I
was.
don't remember, but she wasn't on your episode of.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, you can see her.
oh, okay.
I think
I didn't
she.
know to look for her. I've only seen your half of the episode that you were on because you were telling me like this morning you were saying like, did you watch this? No, I didn't watch the initials. I skimmed to where you were. I watched your segment and then I watched you whistling at the end. So what was it like doing a segment of To Tell the Truth?
Well, to give you a little background, my wife and I watched the show every week, and they'd have people on like a champion horseshoe thrower, a champion baton twirler, somebody who makes costumes for mini pigs. And I would turn to my wife and say, and again I ask, wouldn't I be perfect for this show? And my wife would roll her eyes and say, yes, yes, dear, yes, you'd be,
As wives
So,
do. Yeah.
so I started lobbying the producers of the show for 2 years, saying, hey, I think I ought to be on your show. And after 2 years, in February, I finally got through to the guy who was the casting director for season 5. And
Wow.
he said, I'm no longer the casting director, but I think you'd be perfect for the show, and I'm going to refer your material to the new casting director. Great. So I waited 2 months, and I finally heard from her. She called me up, scheduled a Zoom interview. We did the Zoom interview, and she said, yeah, I think you'd be perfect for the show. She even went so far as to say, I've been doing this for a while, and you're the most interesting person I've interviewed yet. I said, great. Does that mean I'll be on the show? She said, no. It means
I love showbiz. Yeah.
I'm going to recommend you, and it'll be up to, the powers that be.
Right.
So waited another month, and for a couple, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 weeks, I guess. And I finally heard from the producer who was involved with that segment. And he wanted to know when I was available. I said, hey, I'm available whenever you want me.
That's what you have to say as an actor.
And, you know, a lot of questions and, a lot of contracts to sign, releases, and, all that sort of thing. And then they sent me an e-ticket to fly out to Hollywood. Yeah. And I said, oh, great. They said, well, yeah, but before you go, you need to get a COVID test.
Hmm.
I said, oh, okay. And they wanted the PNR test, the more intrusive, uncomfortable,
You mean like up the like
way up, way up.
yeah.
They're all up the nose, but way up.
Yeah.
So now this is Thursday afternoon. I'm supposed to fly Friday, Saturday morning, and I said, where am I going to go get a COVID test today? And I went over to Duane Reade, where I had gotten tested in the past and vaccinated in the past, and they said we don't do the PNR test.
Hmm.
Okay. So I went walking around. I found another place, a walk-in place, filled out all the forms, whatever. And then I say, now, when would I get the results from this PNR test? And they said, well, it takes 48 hours. Now, bear in mind, it's now
Around the
late
plane. Yeah.
Thursday afternoon, and I'm supposed to fly out Saturday noon. So I called up the producer and I said, listen, it's going to take 48 hours. He said, all right, get the rapid test. I got the rapid test.
Right.
So I flew out, and then I had to go for another COVID test the day after I landed,
Yeah. Fair enough.
be quarantined.
Jeez.
And
But
then
when did you tape? What time?
May
How long?
25th.
May. Well, yeah. Okay.
The show aired July 18th.
Right. Well, I thought it was back in like February, March when you taped this. It was, okay. All right.
And then so I had to get another COVID test the day after I landed,
Mhm.
and then I had to get another COVID test the day of the shoot. I'm already in the studio, backstage. Another COVID test before they let me on the set. So, and I'm thinking to myself, what happens if the test turned out positive? All this has been for nothing. Like I'm out here in Hollywood, and now what? But it luckily,
You still got a free trip to Hollywood, but yeah, you won't be on the. They won't let you on the stage,
yeah.
or put a glass around you or something.
So to get back to your question, it
Yeah.
turns out that they wanted me to do two segments of the show. My segment, Steve the Whistler,
Yes. Yes.
and then the first segment was I am a skyscraper window cleaner.
See, I didn't see. This was not on your Vimeo. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that part.
We didn't we put it. So meanwhile, there are three guys, including myself, that are saying that we're skyscraper window cleaners, or the skyscraper window cleaner, and obviously I'm not, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might get a kick out of watching that segment, but after that segment, when the real skyscraper window cleaner was identified and he left, then they have a thing called "And Now Before You Go," and the other guy that was left with me from the window cleaning segment and I now did the "Who's the Hall of Fame window who's the Hall of Fame whistler," and that's the segment that's available on my website,
Oh.
SteveTheWhistler.com. So
Okay.
if any of your viewers or listeners want to see that segment, you can go to SteveTheWhistler.com, and that's my website, and you can not only see that segment, but there are other videos of concerts that I've done or nightclub performances, including my debut at Town Hall here in New York City, and performance at Feinstein's 54 Below nightclub, duet that I did with Leanne Marie Dobbs, who's a Broadway star.
What's the name of your website again? It's Steve.
SteveTheWhistler.com.
SteveTheWhistler.com.
I'll put it in the chat.
My wife Joyce is putting that.
Ask them about the firewall.
What about the firewall?
So I had friends who were on a game show and they couldn't talk about the results for
Oh.
like until the show aired. Is that true for him?
Well, yeah, he was on our show. He couldn't mention it.
Yeah.
You had to be like, "Hi, Vicki. I'm just in the middle of I'm chatting with Steve." So
The show,
yeah.
you know, now that the show has aired, you know, we don't have the same restrictions that we had before. I was bound by, you know, confidentiality before the show aired, and I mean, you can imagine as I said, we shot the episode, season 6, episode 15. We shot the episode in, May 25th, and it aired July 18th. So I was, like really waiting.
Uh-huh. Well, imagine the guy who's on Jeopardy now that everybody's watching. He's just won like $500,000 on Jeopardy, and he can't. This God knows this was probably shot 3-4 months ago, and he can't say. Well, how much did you end up winning? It's like I can't. Are you still on? It must be really tough.
Can you imagine how hard it is to whistle with bated breath?
Oh, Boy, that's very good.
Mr.
Oh, thank you. Joyce just said, "Oh, Mr. Peabody."
No, I said Mr. Steve Body.
Mr. Steve Body. I love it. Mr. Whistler. Now, we've been talking with Steve the Whistler Herbst about his appearance on To Tell the Truth, and we're being truthful here also. Let me see if do I get to unmute you? Oh, I just can ask you to unmute. Vicki, can you? There you go. This is Vicki Quade.
The very patriotic frame.
Yeah, it's not 9/11 yet.
Oh.
What's all that then?
And behind it's the air show, which is going to be here in Chicago next week.
Oh, far out. So
The air and water show. Everybody loves it, but I hate it.
wait, I couldn't hear what Joy.
So we're watching on Netflix Malice at the Palace, where it's Chicago, right? Where they had that athletic event with the basketballers and everybody, like it was a melee, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if they should have public events.
Well, if there's a melee in the sky, it's a lot worse than on a basketball court. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
How you been, Vicki?
Oh, I've been fine. Been fine. Yeah. Just now it's all about marketing, getting ads done and posters created because, I open in less than a month.
Right, exactly. So are you? What are the mandates in Chicago? Like when people come into your show, do they have to be masked and all that?
They have to be vaccinated or have a negative COVID test within 24 hours.
What's her website, Nuns?
What are you, Nuns? What's your Nuns?
Nuns, the number 4 fun.com.
Nuns
All one word.
Nuns4fun.com.
Nuns4fun.com.
In the chat.
So, but when people, because in New York, now that they're starting Broadway and off-Broadway again, people have to come in not only vaxxed, but you have to wear a mask all through the whole thing. Is that with you guys too, or is Chicago not making that mandate yet?
Well, because they have to be vaccinated to get in. Once they get into the space, if they want to wear their masks, we're saying that's fine. But if they feel comfortable taking them off, then I think
You're okay
since
with that.
we've already proved that they're vaccinated, if they feel like they want to take it off within the space, they can do that.
And since you're in Chicago, the mayor's like, do whatever. If you want to shoot somebody, we're used to it. Go ahead.
No, we don't like people being shot.
I think you're used to it. Yeah.
From power. So
No.
in the classroom, they're telling professors and teachers to enforce masking. But a nun has way more power in a show to enforce masking. Who's not going to listen to the nun? She's got a rule.
Exactly.
Although the
All
hard
you have to do is put the ruler up. Put that mask on. You there in the third seat.
Are you a nun? Are you a nun, Vicki?
No, but I was raised in a very Catholic household, and I went to Catholic schools, and we were very good friends with the nuns, and they used to come over to our house. So I'm very connected to the nuns.
And she's the co-creator of Late Night Catechism.
I have a question for you then, Vicki.
Yes.
What do you call a priest
Oh.
who becomes
All right, do it. Just go ahead. Do it. It's some horrible nun joke.
What do you
Go
call?
ahead.
That has nothing to do with nuns. What do you call a priest who becomes an attorney?
Go ahead.
A father-in-law.
Oh.
But
It's clean, I'll give you that.
it is clean.
Mr. Steve.
Shocking for this show.
Look how everyone's wearing red.
No, we've got everybody. But this is so cool. We've got the gang.
Yeah.
So let me first reintroduce everybody that we're talking to. And David, you can unmute. So we have with us Steve the Whistler Herbst, network TV star of To Tell the Truth, or at least the episode where nobody was fooled in that second round, man. They just I won't give any more away, but it was kind of like if people are looking for a true competitive, knowledgeable whistler, they know they're going to find you. We also have Vicki Quade, the creator of Late Night Catechism and also Holy Christmas Bingo.
Tons of bingo shows and lots of stuff.
Right, and out in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater. And we also have our weekly panelist, David Sheward, who is, how are you doing? You're off vacation. How long before you have to start teaching school again?
We have to go back. Well, teachers go back the Thursday after Labor Day, and then the students come back the following Monday.
Oh, so you've got a little bit of time.
Yeah. The Jewish holidays are earlier this year, so we're starting later.
Let me ask you, you've gone through your main vacation. You had a great time, I think. Wow, how are you spending your last 2 weeks of freedom?
It's more than 2 weeks.
Oh, 3
I'm
weeks.
going to get something.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to. There's a little bit of theater. It looks like she's walking off into the wild blue yonder.
I am. I'm walking off the watch. I'm coming back. I wanted to show you guys something.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And
guys,
to the
make sure,
sky.
Steve, please make sure you have a pen and paper. I just need you to have like a something you can scroll with in a piece of paper. But David, yes, please.
Oh yeah, you walk away from the screen. I'm watching. I'm going to what theater there is. I did go to, because it's beginning to come back a little bit. I saw Merry Wives in Central Park last Saturday night. And next Thursday, I'm going to the play Passover at the August Wilson Theater, which will be the first Broadway show I will have seen in 18 months.
Yeah.
Because they pushed up the opening by 3 weeks.
So how do you feel about now having to sit through a play fully masked? Do you care? Is it going to annoy you? Are you going to forget about nothing?
It doesn't bother me at all.
Oh.
It's a necessary precaution. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
And I don't get these people who are like, oh, you're asking me to wear a mask? Oh, how dare you?
Well, not how dare you, but
How dare you ask me to wear a mask?
You know,
I want to point one thing out.
What?
Okay, so when you asked about the precautions being taken at the greenhouse,
Yeah.
once people get into our space, my gift to them for the month of September is if you show me your vaccination card, you're going to get a get out of hell free card.
Oh, good.
Hold it closer to the. There you go. Wow, get out of hell! I could use
Out
seven
of
of those.
hell free card. Now,
You send one of those? I mean, I'd like one of those.
Didn't they used to,
Steve,
Dave
you ready?
probably needs a lot of them. That's what I'm
didn't they
thinking.
used to call those indulgences?
Well, there are indulgences. That just gets you out of purgatory,
Oh,
not out of hell. Nothing gets you out of hell, Dave. No matter what,
what?
if you're going to hell, you're going to hell. So
But didn't Martin Luther protest against that?
And he was a king.
Purgatory, that you can buy your way out of purgatory.
Isn't that what Martin Luther was sort of protesting
Yes.
against?
Well, that's what started the whole rift.
You know, all this has just reminded me of a kind of funny story. There's a fellow who goes into the confessional next to the priest, and the priest says, "What would you like to tell me, my son?" And he says, "I'm 82 years old, and I just had sex with a 15-year-old girl." He said, "Wow." He said, I want you to do 20 Hail Marys, and he said, "Well, I'm not Catholic." He says, "You're not Catholic?" He says, "No." He said, "Well, why are you telling me this?" He says, "I'm telling everybody."
I would change that the 15 to 19.
18.
Yeah.
It goes a whole different direction from when we were telling that joke 30 years ago,
You know
man.
what his name was?
Yeah.
I think that's the way I heard it.
It's Andrew?
Yeah.
Or Jeffrey Epstein. It's more of a Jeffrey Epstein style joke. If you change the girl to 19, it's perfect.
And it's
Yeah.
Talking about mask wearing, I also sing and have been a member of the University Glee Club of New York City for 42 years now. And we had a meeting. We did virtual rehearsals, Zoom rehearsals in the last year, and really changed the way we have done things. But now we're talking about meeting again in person for our rehearsals starting in September, and doing a winter concert in January live in person, as opposed to what we did last time, which was virtual. Everybody shot their own, and then they had an engineering thing. So the discussion was you have to have proof of vaccination, and we're supposed to wear masks while we are rehearsing. So people say, "Yeah, singing with a mask on, that's going to be challenging." But that's going to be what's required.
Have you tried it? Have you tried or whistling or singing? Or
I have tried whistling with a mask on, and it depends on the mask. If the mask is too tight or too snug, it's pretty difficult. And there's also the matter of getting breath. Because
because it's over your nose as well as your mouth. That's right.
So it can be challenging. People who live or are in my neighborhood here, when obviously when I'm walking my dog, for example, hear my whistling. But nowadays, you can take your mask off outdoors, so it's not a problem.
Well, let me ask Vicki that last thing, because you do play a nun in Late Night Catechism. So here's the deal: like the one thing, if people are masked sitting in your audience, how will you be able to tell if they're chewing gum?
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Everybody's chewing gum. Everybody gets punished.
Oh, you ever do that with like one person, or the teachers would do that? If the one person won't confess, everybody takes them.
It is a story someone told during the show. They said that when they were in school, the nun would have them line up on Friday, and as they walked out, the nun would smack their hands, because she said, "I know you're going to do something over the weekend, and I'm not going to be there to see it."
Wow!
Got a hand smack before they left.
That belongs on the show, Vicki. That's actually such a great story. That belongs somewhere.
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've told it in the show.
Now, one of the things I love is doing this program. It's called Dave's Gone By. It's 10:30 in the morning Eastern Time. We're here with Vicki, Quade, David Sheward, who, by the way, is the former president of the Drama Desk, former managing editor of Backstage, and current writer for TheaterLife.culturaldaily.com, TheaterLife.com, and the David Desk blog, as well as Steve the Whistler Herbst. We do want to give it a shout out and a good feelings and refuah shlema to all our mutual friend, really, Leslie Hoban Blake, who is she's going through some health stuff, and this is not a week that she can join us. So we're hoping that she will be back and well next week. She's going through a long thing. But anywho, we got you guys. And I think you've all played the Today Yesterday game at least once, right? So I'll do the rules real quick. Here's the deal. It's questions. There's 3 rounds of 3 questions. Each of you get a question. There were 2 points each. And if you get them right, if you get them wrong, no penalty, but another person gets to steal. Every question, except for a couple, is based on something that happened in history on this day, on August 14th, because today is August 14th, 2020. Except there's 3 clues in the news questions I'll explain. But yeah, and that's about it. And then if need be, we have a tiebreaker, or even if needn't be, we do the tiebreaker anyway. Do you guys have any questions about how the game is played?
Why'd you become Lawrence Wells?
I don't know. So on 1 and 2, we are going to ask Steve the Whistler, since this is, I think, only your 3rd time on the show. You are a newbie. So, huh?
I don't know. Did I do it many years ago?
Yeah. You were first on the show back in like 2004 or something like that. Years you were in person at WGBB. And then we had you on many years later. Oh, I'm so glad you don't remember being on my show. I'm so glad it was such a blip in your life.
David, I think you traumatized
Mr. To Tell the Truth.
I got memory issues all over the place.
Well, you won't want to remember. I guess, yeah, you kind of want to forget being on this program. But I want you to you won't have to remember it because you're going to tell me. Pick a number, please, between 1 and 6.
5.
Steve goes with 5. And Vicki, could you kindly?
4.
4. And David Sheward?
Oh wait, so we've got 5 and we've got 4 are taken, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'll go with 3.
David Sheward goes with 3. Now, by the way, do you guys want to play the game, or do you just want to assume that David's going to win anyway?
Leslie would not like that attitude.
See, I have to admit, I forgot the significance of picking a number.
Oh, and we're going to find out right now. What happens is I have a digital dice rolling thing called Roll It. I mean, everybody does. It's a website where I can roll a one-sided die, which I'm going to do right now. And it comes up number 2, which is closest to David Sheward's number 3. So David now gets to decide whether he wants to go first, second, or third in the game.
I will go first.
David Sheward going first. And now I'm going to roll the die again. And it comes up a number 3, which is David Sheward's direct number, but closest second to Vicki Quade. So Vicki.
I'll go second.
Vicki Quade will go second. And Steve the Whistler, do you choose to go third?
Not much of a choice.
Just
What choice do I have here?
yeah, it was a joke. It was kind of just funning you. So it's David Sheward first, Vicki Quade second, Steve Herbst goes third, and all that means is, it's a way of keeping the questions random. So it's not like they can pick the order that the questions are.
Yeah.
At least, it could have been anybody answering these questions in different orders. So the first question goes to you, David Sheward. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The year 1590, published today, is a play about a shepherd turned mighty ruler. He's based on a real person, an Uzbek-born sheep thief, also turned mighty ruler. Name that play, which is considered a turning point in modern blank verse drama.
Weird.
That's not the name.
I seem to recall when we were doing this in high school, the second Shepherd's play, but it wasn't about someone becoming a mighty ruler. But the second Shepherd's play was a very important thing. So the only thing I can think of is the second Shepherd's play.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid you are wrong. So the little sheep joke, you are wrong. I'm gonna roll the die here, and we're gonna see. We come up. Wow, low numbers, man. Number 2 again, which is closest to Vicki Quade. Vicki, do you want to try and steal? The year was 1590.
I can try to steal, but I have no idea. Really, no idea at all. But a mighty ruler. David was a mighty ruler.
Thank you.
So I thought maybe it's just the story, the Song of David. I have no idea. I'm making that up.
The Fall of David.
The song.
The Song of David.
You said the song.
Yeah, why not?
La 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 la. You're wrong, and that's the end of my
I
song.
knew I was.
So, Steve, the Whistler Herbst, do you have an answer? Do you want to try for this one?
I have no idea whatsoever, not a clue. So instead of guessing, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to ask you, did you hear about the king who was 12 inches tall?
No.
He was a terrible king, but he made for a good ruler.
Mr. Peabody.
I'm just dying by inches here.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Thank you. Please keep doing that, Steve. Please, so I don't have to make those jokes. You will. So here's the deal. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to. Whatever. 1590. So just a little before, or contemporary with Willie the Shake. But it's not William the Shake. It's Christopher Marlowe, and his play.
Tamburlaine?
Tamburlaine the Great.
Oh, I never thought of that.
How could anybody miss that one? It's so obvious.
And Bob Dylan even wrote a song about it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man thing.
Conquering all those countries, you were just ruler, and you were more than 12 inches.
Lucky Mrs. Tambourine. Anyway, I don't know what that means.
And Jack Palance and Albert Finney played you. Da, 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 da.
Oh, I see. David always finds a way to relate things to movies. Did Albert Finney play Tambourine the Great?
I think he did it on stage, or somebody did on stage. Anthony Quinn or somebody did.
Amber Tamblyn should have played Tambourine the Great. That would have worked. I think that would have been
That would work.
Dave, apropos.
Now that you that was very well phrased because you really hit it very, very cleverly.
She did or I did, or we both did.
Oh, are you muted or am I muted?
No, I hear you.
Well, we hear you. Nobody responded.
What happened? Everything was muted for a minute.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, everything's fine. But you were going to say, Steve.
Dave, speaking of sheep farming,
Yes.
you know what you call a sheep that's covered with chocolate?
Sheep dip.
Hershey bar.
Oh God.
Oh, that's a sheep from New England, right?
You sound like Spalding Gray when you do that. Yeah. Mr. Steve Body.
Let's go over. I want some lobster, Mr. Shepard.
I would say that I would hope that Steve doesn't make any more sheep jokes, but I know you will. All right, here we go. Let's. Sorry. Nothing. Well, no, Vicky's giggling. Okay, so we have a tie game, but we go on to our second question, and this one goes directly to Vicky. And Vicky, it's a clue in the news. 3 clues in the news.
All right. Okay.
This is a new wrinkle that we've added to the game for people who don't know. These are 3 words that are connected to the word that we are looking for. These 3 words are not connected to each other. They are connected, so it could be like blank word or word blank, or it might be sort of a synonym-y thing of the word. Got it? All right, here we go. And the answer is in some way related to the news. All right? 3 clues in the news.
Did you get this idea? Did you get this from watching Super Password or Password Plus?
I was thinking of just trying to add a new wrinkle to the game, and also trying to make coming up with 10 bloody questions every week a little easier. So
I like this new segment. I think it's good. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, let's see if you get it right, though.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's fun.
The words are cup, whistling, south.
Oh.
Thank you so much for the little thing like that. Cup, whistling,
Got a text message.
south.
Cup whistling.
Is that me?
No, that's somebody's text. Somebody's getting.
It's not me.
That's
not me.
That's a text message that I'm getting from a whistling friend of mine.
Okay. So, cup whistling
south.
Oh man. Whistling's a tough one. It's like, okay, what's that one? Cup whistling south.
I don't know that one.
Boy, I don't know. I'm really having trouble trying to figure out a word that each would fit each of those.
So again, it can be blank word or word blank, but also it could be, synonymously related. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, I know the game. I can't figure it out. I'm sorry. No.
You want to take a guess-a-roo?
Coffee cup, coffee whistling.
Well, I don't know where you've been, but coffee is not the correct answer.
I knew that.
All right, you didn't know that. Let's roll the die and see who gets to steal. Ooh, we come up with a number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So, David Sheward,
okay.
You want to take a shot at this? 3 clues and clues.
Cup, whistling, south.
Yes.
All right. Cup. tea. Whistling tea kettle. But how would South fit into it? And what's in the news that would have anything to do with any of this? Maybe fires?
Oh, I'm telling you what you just said there.
Dixie. The word is Dixie, and it has to do with the Dixie Fire.
That's it. You're right.
Is that your final answer, David Sheward?
Yes.
David Sheward, you are on fire. Well done. It is Dixie Cup, Whistling Dixie, of course, and I was so hoping Steve would get this one, but David Sheward, no offense, David, but whistling, and of course South is a synonym for Dixie. Well done, man. Well
nice
done,
job, David. Nice job.
I'm afraid that it's gone with the wind.
Yeah. Why do they? You would know this, Steve. Where did the idea of you ain't just whistling Dixie come from? I mean, how did that become a phrase? Do you know?
I guess I ought to know that, but I don't.
Next time, come to the show more prepared.
Anecdotally, I'll tell you that one of the concerts that I was involved with, this was at Lincoln Center or Carnegie Hall, I forget which, but I was standing in front of 200 singers, who included the West Point Cadet Chorus and the University Glee Club behind me, and an audience of a couple thousand in front of me, and we were going to do having a memory issue now, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming.
Republic. What is that?
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Battle Hymn of the Republic. So we were singing Battle Hymn of the Republic, but as an introduction to the Battle Hymn of the Republic, I actually whistled Dixie in slow march tempo as an introduction to the Battle Hymn of the Republic in that concert.
Well, you won't be hearing that song on stage as much anymore. That's for sure.
Let me say, I just looked it up while you were talking.
Yeah.
It is the idea that you are engaged in an unrealistic, hopeful, fantasizing idea, whistling Dixie. The idiom alludes to the song Dixie and the vain hope that the Confederacy, known as Dixie, would win the Civil War.
Oh,
wow. So nobody's going to be whistling that song or singing that song on any stage any woke time soon.
So Cynthia said, "Get well, Leslie," and she said, "Is this dad joke hour?"
I love dad joke. I would be,
Dave,
old enough.
Dave, do you know how to tell that a joke is a dad joke?
How can you tell if a joke is a dad joke, Steve?
It's apparent.
That's actually very good. I like that one. That was very good.
Write that one down. I'm sure we'll hear that in the future.
Amazing enough, Steve the Whistler Herbst gets the next question. Let's see if he can do it without telling a joke. I hope not. Are you ready, Steve? You get a multiple choice.
Oh, good.
Here we go. So remember, all these things happen on August 14th.
Cynthia said either it's apparent or no one laughs.
Oh, no, that was funny. I like that joke. All right.
Cynthia's tough.
Anyway, 1820 was the year, August 14th the date. 1820, opening today in downtown Manhattan is the New York Eye Infirmary, which eventually became the New York Eye and Ear Infirmary of Mount Sinai, now on East 14th Street. According to the Princeton Eye Group and a couple of other websites, which of these is not true about eyes and eyeballs? Which of these is not true about eyes and eyeballs? A, eyelashes have an average lifespan of 2 years. B, Teddy Roosevelt went half blind while in office. C, when newborn babies cry, they don't make tears. Or D, just like your skin, your eyes can get sunburned.
Which is not true?
One of these is not.
It's false.
False, yes.
Which
One of these is false.
I pick A.
You're saying A, eyelashes have an average of a lifespan of 2 years is not true, is false?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the eyes have it. Steve the Whistler, was it a guess or did you know or how did you know?
it just made sense to me that eyelashes don't last that long.
They don't.
Days, right?
3 months. An eyelash generally lasts about 3 months. So Steve, the Whistler, you got it, man. You got 2 points off that. And just FYI, did you want? Ah!
I think this one's about ready to go. You know.
No.
Well, Dave,
I felt a little browbeaten.
Well, Steve should know. David Sheward should know about this because he's a teacher and he has so many pupils. But I'm so sorry.
She got it wrong. Cynthia got it wrong.
Well, here's the deal. Teddy Roosevelt, I don't know if you knew this, but he liked to box. And he had, this is not a joke, he had a sparring partner. And he had him sparring in the White House. And the guy he was fighting with got him right in the eye and ended up blinding him in that eye for the rest of his life. And this is when he was still president. You can get sunburn in your eyeball. And I don't even know. Babies don't make tears until several weeks old.
Yeah.
I mean, they cry, but there's no tear ducts. Yeah, David has walked away from the game.
It's his mother. His mother's like, this is a stupid show.
Well, there's nothing.
You told me to watch this. Now I wonder why.
We have a kind of a tie game here. We have David Sheward up against Vicki, Quade, and up against Steve the Whistler Herbst. Everything okay, David?
Yes, it was a phone call for my husband, and I just put my foot on the chair coming back. But everything's fine. No, it's fine.
So I hope you don't have toe main poisoning.
It's really everyone's sinking to a new low today.
What have I done?
No, that's true. Vicki has not. Vicki's been very good.
Wait a minute.
No,
You are not getting a get out of hell free card for that, David.
So David,
I'm sorry, not everyone.
David Sheward, you are tied for first place with Vicki Quade.
No.
I'm sorry, with Steve, the Whistler Herbst. Again, we have that S thing because we have a last name with S and a first name with S, so I get confused. But it's S for Sheward, Q for Quade, and H for Herbst. But David, you get to start off round 2 with a question.
Okay.
Worth 2 points, and it is.
We need some stadium music.
I know. Well, I can't play music on the show because of copyright. Dum-da-dum-da-dum. It's a multiple choice. 1893 is the year. Paris institutes the first motor vehicle registration law, mandating the use of visible license plates. In this law, at that time, the plates had to include, besides a unique number, which of the following? A, the auto manufacturer. B, the owner's address. C, the name of the auto dealership, or D, all of the above?
Wow. There would be room for anything else if it were all of the above. I was waiting for D because all the first 3 sounded kind of like there wouldn't be enough room for all of this. So the address, it's A, the address
of the manufacturer,
the name of the manufacturer,
right?
The auto the address of the owner,
right?
And the name of the dealership?
Yeah.
Or all of the above?
Right.
Now, the weird answer, the unexpected answer would be all of the above, because you would think there couldn't possibly be room for all of those things, plus the number. And I'm trying to visualize, when the Bellamy's on Upstairs Downstairs got their car. But this was in France, not England.
Right.
Oh, Cynthia says...
She is incorrect.
Oh, you muted yourself. Okay. Because I don't remember any costume dramas from that era on public television set in France, so that doesn't help me. Part of me is leaning towards all of the above, and I it's just crazy. That couldn't possibly be the answer, so I'll say all of the above.
Is that your?
Yeah, sure.
This, by the way, gives me the opportunity to make one of the first jokes I ever made, and Vicki will appreciate this. What do you call the patron saint of multiple choice exams?
Saint, I don't know.
The none of the above. Ha! Ha! I made that. I wrote that joke in my pre-teens.
But
I did.
Nuns can't. Well, they can't be saints.
But anyway, by the way, David Sheward, I'm afraid that is not the correct answer.
No,
So
sorry. I gambled and I lost.
you gambled and you lost, but let's see who might win. We have the number 5, finally a higher number, and it goes directly to Steve the Whistler, whose number was 5. So, Steve, do you want to try and steal this question of what, besides the number, what was on those original license plates when that became a law in France in 1893?
Okay, yes. I'll try to steal.
Okay, I'll read the options again. Is it A, the auto manufacturer, B, the owner's address, or C, the name of the auto dealership?
I'll say the name of the manufacturer.
Is that your final answer?
Let's see now. The manufacturer, the owner's address, or the dealership, you said?
Yes.
All right, final answer.
Well, I'm afraid you are not an autodidact on that question. That is not the correct
What
answer.
letter was that?
Vicki, that was A.
Okay.
So, Vicki.
I'm going to say the owner's address so that they knew where the car was going if it was left or stolen or something like that. I'm going to say
Okay.
the owner's address.
Well, you were certainly able to home in on that question. Well done, Vicki Quade. You had to put the whole.
What letter?
That was letter B, is the correct answer. So, and Vicki Quade ties up the game.
Oh, my goodness.
Cynthia said that's crazy.
I was
Yeah.
getting worried.
I've always wanted a 3-way. We have one now. Ladies and gentlemen, every one of our contestants has 2 points. Well done. Much more game to play.
Ding dong, do ding,
Ding.
dong.
Oh, Joyce watches this makeup show on Netflix where the woman, they judge like special and what would you call it? It's fashion makeup. It's also
artists, makeup
horror
artists,
movie.
yeah.
Makeup artists try to impress the judges. And there's one woman, when she's super impressed, she's like, that is a ding dong. Yeah, don't know what's in her head. But anywho, ding dong, ladies and gentlemen. We are in round 2 with the next question, though, going to Vicki. So, Vicki, if you get this right, you get to move into the lead.
Lead. Okay.
It's a multiple choice,
All right.
and the year is 1921.
Right.
Supported by Russia, the People's Republic of Tuva was established today. Among the animals you'll find in Tuva are camels, goats, sheep, and all of these except which? A, reindeer, B, gerbils, C, beavers,
Oh,
D, gorillas.
Oh.
that's a tough one.
Well, it's the logical thing is to say gorillas, but that's so unusual that I'm thinking it probably you could find gorillas there. So I'm going to say, and reindeer makes sense because it's in that area. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I'm going to say reindeer because I think reindeer maybe are not around Russia. I may be wrong about that. I'm going to say reindeer.
Well, you may be red-faced and red-nosed about that one. That is not the correct answer. Vicki,
Darn it.
right, they do. You had the right instinct. They do have reindeer there in Tuva. So let's see who can maybe steal this question. I'm going to roll the die, and the die comes up numero uno, which is closest to David Sheward. David
Okay.
Sheward, you want to try and steal?
All right. Sure. What are my choices again?
Okay. Which? So there are lots of animals that you can find in Tuva, all except one of these. Is it B, gerbils, C, beavers, or D, gorillas?
And it's in Tuva, which I've never heard of.
Oh.
Married to Ernest
Joyce is saying, isn't she married to Ernest Borgnine? No, she's Irish. Tuva, luva, luva. That's okay. Sorry.
So gerbils. When you listed all the animals, the first thing that came to my mind was a rather disgusting orgy.
That's on you, Dave. That's on, well, beavers, I get, but then that's so totally on you.
And, gerbils and Richard Gere,
Oh, God, yeah.
That wasn't true, though. That was
Of course it's not true.
I know.
Julia Roberts was true.
Propagated by Cindy Crawford during the divorce settlement, I think. And the Dalai Lama.
So gerbils.
Gerbils, beavers.
Gorillas.
Yes.
Day at the zoo. Oh, Cynthia wants to know what David teaches.
Oh, David, what do you teach? Remind us, is it history or is it English?
I teach special education in high school.
Special ed, the helmet kids. Yeah. So.
Oh, God, David.
Careful. Okay. Let's see. Let me think. Let's see. So gerbils, beavers, gorillas.
Whether it's a small animal or a large animal,
Yeah.
I'll say gorillas.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Well, prepare to go apeshit, David Sheward, because that is the correct answer. Well done, gorillas indeed. I had no idea, but that the common gerbil that you see in the pet stores here is like the Tuvan gerbil. It's their actual.
Where is Tuva?
Yeah, where the hell is this place?
It's sub-Siberian Russia.
Huh?
Oh, naturally. Claro.
So well done. Wasn't it? There was an Allen Ginsberg poem or song called "Bus Ride to Tuva," and no, seriously, it's been around for a bit. So David Sheward now has 4 points. So well done. He is in the lead with Vicki with 2 and Steve the Whistler Herbst with 2. But Steve the Whistler gets the next question. So Steve, this is another 3 clues in the news. These are 3 words that are connected to the word that we're looking for. No, they're not connected to each other. They're connected to this other word. Are you ready for your clues in the news? And the word is something that will have some relation to something that's going on in the world. Are you ready? Yeah. You get so serious when the question. The rest of the time you're making all these jokes, and then it's like, just tell me the question. Just tell me the question. I know. Here we go. Drug, bank, syndrome.
I'm not good today at these, David. Drug.
Bank syndrome.
Yes. But this question is for Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Drug, bank, syndrome.
Bank. These are getting more difficult, right?
So now I'm supposed to come up with a word that relates to all 3 of those?
Right. So it could be.
You're not giving me a multiple choice or anything.
No, sorry, man. No.
Just like David had Dixie Cup, Whistling Dixie, and it related to the Dixie fires in the news.
Perfect. Thank you, Vicki. I should give him an example. That's right. I was going to say, like.
Well, that's a good example. He doesn't need another one.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Mother Superior. All right. So.
You've been schooled.
He's a smart boy.
No, but I should have done it before. I forgot to do it when I was first giving the rules. But okay.
That's okay.
Can you give the 3 words again?
The 3 for this question are drug, bank, syndrome.
I have no idea.
Do you want to pick any word out of the?
Tell Steve. Tell Steve. If you don't know what to say, just do some marketing for your work.
Yeah.
Talk about your work.
Just say SteveTheWhistler.com.
Exactly.
Is that your final answer? SteveTheWhistler.com.
Yeah, I'm not just Whistling Dixie.
Well, this means we have a steal opportunity from one of our other players. So let's see who the die picks. Excuse me. It came up a 5, which would have been closest to Steve, but that means it goes to Vicki. So Vicki, do you want to try?
Say it again. Drug.
Bank.
Syndrome.
Oh, these are tough.
It's the syndrome that got me. I just can't seem to like drug tests, bank holiday syndrome, China syndrome, China drugs, bank drugs. I'm helping David, I know.
Got it already.
I know.
No. I'm just thinking syndrome. Like a health drug.
You can use a health-free card, Vicki.
Nunsforfun.com.
Nunsforfun.com. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid that was none of the above. So, David Sheward, do you want to try and steal this one?
Okay, let's see. Drugs plural, right?
No, singular. Drug. Bank. Syndrome.
It's the syndrome that's weird, and I don't think it's China because it doesn't go with the other two.
Right. Ignore the last one and just give your best guess. Ignore
the other thing is Stockholm, but I don't see how that fits in with drug maker, drug kingpin, drug deal syndrome.
Syndrome's a tough one.
Syndrome. Down syndrome. Down drug overdose. Drug prescription. Drug. What was the second one again? Bank. Holiday deposit. Overdrawn. Draft. I'll say Stockholm. I can't think of anything else.
Well, that was a bitter answer. I was hoping for something more Swede. Sorry, that's terrible. I know it was terrible. So here's the deal. Oh my God, I thought you'd get this one. What are we doing in Afghanistan?
Well, we
Withdrawal.
There you go.
What's a withdrawal syndrome?
Withdrawal syndrome, when you're on drugs and you have to...
I thought that was a symptom, not a syndrome.
Well, did I screw that up?
Isn't it symptom, not syndrome? Withdrawal symptums?
I think they're both, but let me see. No, it's a syndrome. Syndrome.
I thought it was symptoms.
You can have withdrawal symptoms, but you also have withdrawal syndrome.
Really?
That's a good one, Dave. You put a good one.
Very good. Very good.
Well, thank you. So, all right, nobody got that one. We're still in a 4-2 game with David Sheward leading. But here's the deal. This is now, we go into our third round. So it's really anybody's game. And David Sheward, though, now you get to build on your lead.
All right.
And you get another 3 clues in the news. Here we go.
Wow, you went overboard with them. Okay.
Well, there are 3, because there's one each for everybody. I can do that. So here's the deal.
It was withdrawal, right?
It was with withdrawal. Drug withdrawal, bank withdrawal. Okay. So here's the deal. 3 clues in the news. David Sheward.
Oh, no, not again.
Thank you there. Thank you. Here's the words. Dead. In. White.
White?
White.
You spelled it.
What? Dead. In. White.
And the in is I-N-N or?
No. I-N. I'll give you that.
I-N.
Right.
Dead in white.
Yes.
White like the color.
It's not Christmas because I don't know about Dead Christmas.
That's a terrible horror film.
Yeah, Dead Christmas. God rest ye merry dead men.
They are renting, yeah.
All right, let's see. Dead in white.
Yes.
Okay, that's not Christmas. Christmas tree, dead tree, Christmas tree, and maybe reconciliation? No. Infrastructure, dead infrastructure? No. I'm just trying to think of things that are in the news.
Of course, yeah.
COVID? No. Dead plants. Dead as a duck. Dead as a doornail. Christmas holiday, Christmas goose, Christmas turkey.
David, I will remind you that the words are dead in white.
Oh, white. Okay, I got Christmas. Okay, white.
You have it on the brain, yeah.
Dead white meat. That's a movie with James Brown.
Or a really bad porn film. Okay, yeah.
Dead white meat. I don't know. Sink.
Oh, is that your?
Yeah, it's my final answer. Sink. I can't think of anything else.
Well, I would pump you for the answer, but I don't want to force it. No, sink is not the correct answer. I'm sorry.
I thought in sync, S-Y-N.
Oh, sink, S-Y-N-C. Well, but no.
Okay.
Roll the die. Finally, this is the first time we come up with a 6 in the whole game. 6 is closer to Steve the Whistler Herbst. So, Steve, do you have a shot on this one?
No, not really.
Oh.
You ain't just whistling Dixie, brother.
There we go.
As they used to say in the cartoons.
I'm still embarrassed from the last one because I worked for 5.5 years in substance abuse treatment.
Oh,
that's right. Uh-oh.
So maybe redeem yourself with this one, Steve, and just think simply, dead.
Yeah, but Steve never
white.
had this this question type before. So
no, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And David Sheward missed it, so yeah.
Far into my ken.
Everybody has an off day, Say them again.
I got dead in white,
And in.
Dead in
Dead
white.
in white, yeah.
And this is coming up with a word that's in the news?
Yes. Something connected to
Like
something that's you would read about in the newspapers this past week.
Anything.
True.
Injection.
Is that your final answer?
It's my only answer.
Well, I don't want to needle you about that, but that is not the correct answer. So the question now could
I got
be...
the point.
God. I'm glad you took the plunger, though. So here's the deal, Vicki. You want to try this one?
Yeah, I can try it. That doesn't. I have been sitting here thinking, like David. I'm thinking, what's in the news? The booster, the infrastructure, it's crazy. It's that white noise, dead noise. But then in noise doesn't matter. That doesn't seem to, it doesn't count. That's what I was thinking of. Planes in, dead planes. I don't know. I'm going to say noise, even though I know it's wrong. Nunsforfun.com.
Well, a shout out to you, Vicki Quaggy, to see that's my noise. But no. Oh, I beat you again. And I know this one was really tough. But it's something that you guys, I'm assuming, certainly David and Steve, you're experiencing it right now and for the past 3 days. I assume you might be experiencing it in Chicago because 2/3 of America over the past few days has been experiencing
heat. Dead heat, white heat.
In heat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tough one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's also a good one.
In
heat? Yeah, they're a good when you figure, or when you're taking
like when an animal is ready to go at it sexually.
Oh my God, what's happening to your
like the sheep that you were talking about before. Is like,
or the beaver, gorilla.
Well, beavers. Yeah, we've been skirting the whole. Yeah, and you
fortunately, none of those animals. Fortunately, none of those animals are in heat at the same time. So
that would be. Yeah.
Yeah, Vicki, looking at your background there, I thought you might be able to wing it.
Lordy.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Yeah, really.
We're more than halfway through the quiz, but we're not done yet.
Oh.
Vicky's playing. All right, let's move on. We're in the third round, and we have a question now that goes directly to Vicki Quade, who, by the way, is still 2 points away from tying David Sheward. It is still anybody's
So hard.
game. So here we go. This is not a 3 clues in the news. This is a multiple choice for Vicki. Oh, I like this one. The year was 1925.
Okay.
Completed today in California, just west of Yosemite, is a hydroelectric plant connected to a reservoir and dam. All 3 continue to this day. But what is the nickname, or really the name, of the plant? Is it A, the Tea Kettle Junction Electric House, B, the Hetchy Moccasin Powerhouse, C, the Forks of Salmon Siskiyou Plant, or D, the Badwater Basin Earp Dam and Plant? Like Wyatt, like EARP, Earp Dam and Plant.
What was the second one?
The second one was the Hetchy Moccasin Powerhouse.
I'm going to say it's that one.
Any particular reason?
He's like, what the heck?
Well, they had the word moccasin in it. I figured it's, Native American lands. They may have named it for something like that.
So is that your final answer?
It is my final answer.
Well, I'm going to read the clues again just because I spent so long writing them. There was the Tea Kettle Junction Electric House, the Forks of Salmon Siskiyou Plant, the Badwater Basin Earp Dam and Plant, but as Vicki wisely noticed, yes, there's an Indian connection. It is the Moccasin Dam, which is part of the Hetchy Valley and Reservoir in California. Vicki Quade, you got 2 points on the board. You are tied with David Sheward for the lead. Woo! Yeah, such excitement.
That one was damn tough.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Even Mr. Peabody won't work on that one.
Yeah.
I don't think that answer held water, though.
David needs to have a new reaction that will address these puns.
Cry me a river, Steve,
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Okay. All right, here we go. We have one more question in round 3, so we might actually wind up needing the tiebreaker, but it all depends. See, Steve is only 2 points away from tying the 2 of you, so he could tie it up, making a 3-way tie. Who knows what can happen with this question? Oh, I'm excited. Oh!
Was it D?
The last one was B, the Hetchy Moccasin Powerhouse.
B as in boy?
B as in boy.
Okay.
The Hetchy Moccasin.
I score for Cynthia. When she gets it right, I give her a happy. When she gets it sad, I give her a tear.
How did she do on that one?
She got a D.
No.
Yeah, she did get withdrawal.
That was
a tough one.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. Good for her.
Here we go. We have a question now directly to Steve the Whistler. It's a multiple choice. 1938 was the year. Only months before World War II, the BBC broadcast its first ever movie, a horror film, The Student of Prague.
The what?
The Student of Prague.
Of Prague?
Prague, like in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
Directed by Artur Robison, it was a 1935 remake of a story already done in the silent era twice. Which of these is true about Prague? A, its most popular beer is actually brewed in Milwaukee.
Oh, come on.
B, to mark what would have been Stan Laurel's 100th birthday, 8 Czech artists carried the piano across the Charles Bridge. C, since 1975, a wall on a small Prague street has been filled with graffiti dedicated to Frank Zappa. Or D, an exact replica of the Prague clock was built in Seoul, South Korea.
These are too involved, David.
Well, thank you, dear. Which of these is true about Prague?
Oh, only one of those is true.
Only one of those is true. All the others are false. And this is Steve's question.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering.
No, well, I wanted to make that clear. Cool.
Can I hear those choices again?
Sure. So here's the deal. One of these is true about Prague, Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia. A, its most popular beer is actually brewed in Milwaukee. B, to mark what would have been Stan Laurel's 100th birthday, 8 Czech artists carried a piano across the Charles Bridge. C. Since 1975, a wall on a small Prague street has been filled with graffiti dedicated to Frank Zappa. Or D. An exact replica of the Prague clock was built in Seoul, South Korea.
I'm going to say B.
You're going to say the Stan Laurel birthday with the piano across the bridge. Correct. Final answer?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid you don't have the key to that answer. Get piano.
Oh.
So, keys to. Anywho, I'm going to roll the die. We have a steal opportunity here. We come up with a number 3. 3 is the number of David Sheward. So, oh boy, David, you're in a tie.
So which of these 3 things about the city of Prague is true?
Right. 2 of them are false. 1 of them is true.
And what are my choices?
A, its most popular beer is actually brewed in Milwaukee. C, since 1975, a wall on a small Prague street has been filled with graffiti dedicated to Frank Zappa. Or D, an exact replica of the Prague clock was built in Seoul, South Korea.
All of those sound obscure and crazy enough to be true, but it's only one of them. So, So it's Frank Zappa, the clock, or
The beer.
what was the
Beer.
other? The beer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I'm not a beer drinker, so I don't know. I mean, I would think that Europeans would prefer European beer. And I don't know. It's, the Frank Zappa thing is just crazy enough to be true, and the clock in Seoul, South Korea. I'll say the clock in South Korea.
And you're saying that is true.
Yeah, I'll say that's true.
Okay, and that, by the way, is letter D. So that's your final answer.
Oh, okay.
What time is it? It's time for David Sheward to get the right answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
They actually built a replica. It's on a cafe in Seoul, South Korea, of the famous Prague clock, that mechanized clock that they've got there. So, oh my God, David Sheward with 2 more points. Guess what that means?
Is he winning?
He's the winner.
He's the winner. He just won the game. David Sheward, the champion. I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, don't go away because we have our tiebreaker anyway. And here's the deal. I thought I'd fool you with the Frank Zappa thing, because Frank Zappa was precious to the folks in Prague, and he was actually a friend of Václav Havel.
Why?
Because his music influenced a big band there during like the Russian oppression. There was an underground band called the Plastic People of the Universe.
Oh.
Tremendously influenced by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
That's in Tom Stoppard's play, Rock and Roll.
Right, exactly. So, but there is a wall in that has been since 1980 in Prague, and it's been dedicated to paintings and pictures and graffiti of John Lennon.
Oh.
So when they started, and people they painted over it, and now it's more of a political left-wing wall. But for a while, they just left it alone with John Lennon and Beatles stuff.
But eventually they decided you can't Beatle that.
Oh, Bullwinkle.
There's no response.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no by George. There isn't. All right.
It's time for a commercial, Rocky.
Yeah, so Ringo the Bell.
Once we pull a gerbil out of the ass. No, I don't know.
Our special guest today is Richard Gere.
I'm glad you know. If I make those jokes, it's offensive. If you make them, David, I'm
It's still offensive.
Yeah.
If Bullwinkle makes them, well, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you say Richard Deere?
Richard Gere.
Well, you never heard the
because that looks like a moose to me.
well.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Oh, Cynthia said next time for sure, Rocky.
Well, we don't let Bullwinkle play the quiz because he has all the antlers. So Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lefkowitz.
You're very welcome. So let's do our tiebreaker. We have, it's one more question. It doesn't mean anything. It's not for points. It's just because David has won the game. But since I go through the terrible toil and trouble of writing these things, and since they're fun to ask and answer, let's see if we can get the answer. So here's how we do it. Steve, I read the question once, and then you guys write the answer on a piece of paper. Then I'll read the question again. I'll give a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And then when I say 1, you hold up your written answers to the camera. This way it's not all shouting at once and we figure out who won and who didn't. So, are you all ready for the tiebreaker?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. The year was 1928. Born today in Rome is this director, whose lesser-known films include 1986's Summer Night with Greek profile, almond eyes, and a scent of basil, 1996's The Blue-Collar Worker and the Hairdresser in a Whirl of Sex and Politics, and 2004's 2004's Too Much Romance, It's Time for Stuffed Peppers. Name that director.
1928?
Born in 1928.
In Rome.
In Rome.
In Rome.
Rome.
And I will even give the hint, since you're looking a little askance, still alive.
Still alive?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
No
Do
idea.
we all have answers? Do we all? So I'm going to read the question again. And when I give a 3, 2, 1, you just hold up right to that little eye of your computer. So here we go. The year was 1928. Born today in Rome is this director whose lesser-known films include 1986's Summer Night with Greek profile, almond eyes, and scent of basil, 1996's The Blue-Collar Worker and the Hairdresser in a Whirl of Sex and Politics. That's kind of the biggest clue of them all. And 2004's Too Much Romance, It's Time for Stuffed Peppers.
I love that.
Name that director. 3, 2, 1. I can see
David, is it
Vicki.
my nonna? It's my nonna, right?
I see Lena Wertmuller from David Sheward. Can you read yours, Vicki? I can't see it, actually.
Nunsforfun.com.
and Steve, I can't. What did you write?
Victoria De Sica.
Great answer.
Ooh.
But he passed away many, many years ago. But David
Yeah,
Sheward,
alive.
what gave it to you? How did you know it was Lena Wertmuller?
Because she had a penchant for long titles. I think there was one she did with Madonna and, or she did, no, Madonna did the remake of Swept Away, I think.
Right.
Vincent D'Onofrio. But I think she Swept Away, or there was one movie she did with a long title, like Swept Away by Our Usual
Destiny.
something.
Yeah. And she's also, Seven Beauties was her thing, Love and Anarchy, sex and politics mixed together, and Marx, and on some level, Marxist viewpoint. So I thought maybe,
Interesting.
the
She was really hot for a couple of years on the international scene, and then she kind of faded away.
Yeah. Well, she kept making movies up until about the mid 2000s, and they just didn't really make much of a split. They were entering in Cannes and places like that. But no, her moment was during Swept Away, and one of my favorite films of all time, Seven Beauties.
I think the first woman to be directed, I think the first or the second woman to be nominated for Best Director at the Oscars.
Yeah. So I loved a couple of her films. And so, David Sheward, you would have won anyway, even before the tiebreaker. So you got it. You got the tiebreaker.
David, remember we said, why doesn't he go on Jeopardy, or why doesn't he?
Yeah, David Sheward, we're going to ask you. We figure, have you ever tried to get on?
No, I guess I could.
Answer every question with what? What
Right.
is?
Right.
What is?
I suppose I could try it. I think I would do okay, but there's a lot of other factors, and I do watch it, but I don't always win. When I watch it.
No, I would guess not. You don't always win.
No.
I've had friends who have been on that show, and they say the clicker is the
Yeah, you have to stat.
thing.
Yeah, because you have to beat. It's not just knowing the answer. It's sort of
Right.
like
You gotta get in.
can't click early, because if you click before the question's done, you're locked out. It doesn't count.
Yeah, the current champion has been on like for 3 weeks running.
Yeah. He's made $500,000. Yeah.
And I see how he does it. He goes to the biggest money questions right away in all the categories.
That was Ken
But when he
Jennings.
gets, but when he gets the Daily Double, he only bets small. He doesn't like James Holzhauer would bet the whole thing.
But he's so far ahead of everybody else that.
But he could bet more.
Yeah, he's not going to risk. I mean, he not risk not coming back the next day. So if he's
his strategy is to build up a lead as fast as possible.
What do we think about the new Jeopardy hosts?
It's weird. I mean, I don't. It just sounds weird that they would pick the executive producer.
I know.
What was the first one they used? If they were going to use him, why did they do all that other stuff?
So I don't know. The appearance. It's like, and I've never heard of him. I don't think he's particularly vibrant or interesting or anything.
Right. Which you don't necessarily want in a game show host. I mean, when Alex Trebek started doing Jeopardy, he had done High Rollers. He was just like a guy.
And the Wizard of Odds. He had done a lot of game shows before that.
Yeah. So
Pat Sajak, kind of boring and neutral.
Pat Sajak. So there is a level of neutrality.
Can they hold the microphone? Can they read the question?
Exactly.
Yeah, basically.
You don't have to be too entertaining.
Even LeVar Burton did when he was like. This is LeVar Burton's face for the whole thing. Like,
but I liked Mia Bialik.
Well, she's going to be the nighttime host and the specials host. Yeah. So everybody said she was really, really good.
Yeah.
So Mia Bialik, and I like Ken Jennings. I don't know why they didn't give it to him. I thought he would have been great.
Wrote a song about
He's got that other show.
What other show? What?
He's got it.
The Chase.
The Chase.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, so he's another game show thing, or what is it?
It's another game show. It's on ABC. It's where it was a British show at first, where this guy is like supposed to be a trivia expert, and normal people, quote unquote, normal people challenge him,
and so it has the Jeopardy champions.
Right. It has, and now they have them in a room commenting on how the people are doing, which is kind of lame.
Oh. Well, mostly it's how so there's 4 of them. It's Ken Jennings, Holzhauer, James Holzhauer. I forget the other 2. It's one of the guys who won a lot of money.
And the British guy.
The British guy. But when they make comments, it's mostly about the host that's challenging the normal people. Uh-huh. Like they like to give them grief.
Oh, I wouldn't have bet that much, or I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Or
he should have gotten that.
Since we have him this week, Steve, what was your the best part of going on to tell the truth? Because he was just a few weeks ago. They aired Steve's appearance on the new version of To Tell the Truth, which I had no idea had been running for 3 years already. So,
now
Steve,
David, now it's called Be a Politician.
Well, no, was it the plane ride? Was it just being up there? What was it?
Definitely not the plane ride. They flew me out to Hollywood, but I was seated in a row with somebody who kept spilling everything and getting the liquid on my shoes and so forth. So no, it was definitely not the plane ride. But aside from the opportunity to get together with some friends that I haven't seen in years who live out in LA.
Yeah.
Do you remember a TV show called Mr. Belvedere?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the woman who was the female lead in that show, Eileen Graff, who was a Broadway star. She was in Grease and I Love My Wife and in Mr. Belvedere and whatever. Eileen and I grew up together. Her father was my dad's best friend. So I got to see her for the first time in a long, long time. She's going to be at Feinstein's 54 Below in December, by the way.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Yeah. Eileen Graff. I'm okay.
Yeah, she's Randy Graff's cousin, Todd Graff's sister.
Got it.
If those names mean anything, I'm
sure.
Dave knows the names.
Tony winner Randy Graff.
Yeah. Jerry Graff was there, Eileen's father, and he was my dad's best friend and my godfather. And I once said to Jerry, I said, what do you think would have happened if I grew up in your family? And he said, you'd be in the business.
Yeah.
But in terms of being on the show, the 2 things that stand out the most in my mind was Anthony Anderson coming over and shaking my hand and saying, "You're good," and then getting to do my whistling demonstration to prove that I was the Hall of Fame whistler.
What about Mama? Did you like meeting her?
I loved meeting Mama Doris. In fact, I've seen episodes where she wasn't there that night, and I'd
Yeah.
say to my wife, I said, "Boy, I hope Mama Doris is there that night." And at the end of the segment, when I have to stand up and say I'm the one, I introduced myself. Mama Doris says, "I want to hear it. I want to hear it." And Anthony Anderson says, "You're gonna hear. You're gonna hear it." And Steve, take this, center stage, and I did the demo. So I actually gave Mama Doris and Anthony Anderson autographed copies of my CD,
Oh,
Broadway and Beyond, which Dave, you might be interested. It has 15 Broadway show tunes and Danny Boy on it. And any event, that was something I was looking forward to being able to do. To hand Mama Doris one of my CDs.
Oh. And you did give her one. You got one.
I gave her one. I gave Anthony Anderson one. I gave the producer that I had almost daily phone conversations with before going out there.
Now, here's what I wanted to ask. Oh, sorry. No, Vicki, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, what do they do afterwards? Do they have a party? Do they take you guys all out? Or they basically open the door and say, get out?
They at the very end of the show, they have everybody who was on, including, the other, they have several segments.
Yeah.
The one before the first segment that I was in, and I was in 2 segments that night, was the original Funky Bunch dancer.
Along with Marky Mark, yeah.
Funny, so you had 1, 2, and 3. All of them were bald, and Joel McHale, who was one of the 3 celebrities, when they said, well, he says, "I know it's the bald guy." Yeah. Exactly.
So let me. One last thing also I want to know, Steve, because a friend of mine who's been on this program many times, Jeff Goodman, one of his crowning moments, he always loved The Price is Right. And he finally got on to The Price is Right as a contestant. And he says, what people don't even realize when they're watching at home, it's not just about playing a game. You get up there, and it's like being in Vegas times 12. There's lights, there's noise, there's music. It's just freaking nuts. People that don't even realize just how much sensory overload is hitting these people.
Oh, wow.
Was To Tell the Truth like that, or a little more like you could pay attention?
I've had people ask me about that, and my answer is I've been on stage in front of audiences since I was 7 years old, so it really didn't faze me. I was very focused on how I answered the questions. I didn't want to give too much information, don't give too much away, and like that. There was an audience there, not a very big audience, and COVID and all, and they were like in the dark behind the lights and the cameras. So I really wasn't terribly aware of them. I was really focused on the questions that were being asked of me, what the other 2 people were saying when in the first segment where there were 3 of us, and then wanting to answer the questions the best possible way I can, to not give away too much, but be faithful to what was required.
If people want to see Steve the Whistler Herbst, his appearance, or at least part of it, they can go to
they can go to my website, SteveTheWhistler.com, and there is a link to the To Tell the Truth segment.
Right.
And there's also a link to samples of my CD, and there are videos of like the performance I did in my debut in Town Hall here in New York, and that number I did at Feinstein's 54 Below with a Broadway star. We did a duet, the song "Anyone Can Whistle." She was singing it, and I was whistling, with her. Leanne Marie Dobbs.
Okay, cool.
Who's very talented and just such a lovely woman. And a lot of other information and sound samples of different songs that I've done.
And SteveTheWhistler.com. Now, speaking of websites, David Sheward, you write for a couple of different places. You write for Cultural Daily and TheaterLife.com. You do theater. So did you write a review of Merry Wives at the
at Central Park?
Right, at Central Park, right? And They're up there. They're
Yes.
readable at those. Have you done anything for the David Desk, your blog?
Well, I've been doing news updates because there's been a lot of news lately, like that. I just on Broadway news for West Side Story is not coming back. Is not going to reopen. Funny Girl is definitely coming in the spring with Beanie Feldstein.
What a name. Beanie Feldstein. You're doing my Inside Broadway segment literally as we speak. So, yeah, keep on. So, yeah.
And as I said earlier, the play Passover is opening, and it's not about a Seder.
Unfortunately, no.
Is opening at the August Wilson Theater next Sunday. So I'm seeing it on Thursday, and we'll have a review of that. And I've also on the David Desk blog have been putting up on the Broadway Remembered Facebook group. People have been talking about their memories since Broadway isn't back yet. So I am writing blogs about memorable shows that I've seen in different categories.
So
like, here are all the summer stock productions I can remember. Here are the out-of-town tryouts that they used to do before they get to Broadway when they were in Philly, which is where I grew up. And I just wrote a segment on shows I saw in London, the 5 times I've been to London. And I'm working on another one of all the Tennessee Williams productions I've seen on stage and screen. Because I just read John Lahr's biography of Tennessee Williams, which is fascinating.
So, all of that at thedaviddesk.com. Also do check out culturaldaily.com and theaterlife.com. And Vicki Quade, don't want to leave out nunsforfun.com so people can buy tickets to see you live and in person in just a couple of weeks now.
Right.
At the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago, doing Late Night Catechism, and then followed by the Halloween Ghost something.
Holy Ghost Bingo.
Holy Ghost Bingo, and then Christmas Bingo as well. Are any of your performances? Are you selling streams of them, or is that whole stream?
You know, we did sell streaming for a year. We did 6 performances. I filmed and streamed them, but I think people are done with streaming. I mean, even though the Delta variant is coming here and growing, I think people just want to get out. You know, I've gone to several openings and shows in the past couple of weeks, and they've been pretty packed.
Oh, well, knock wood, that will keep on up. However, we have to do it, or whatever curtailments we have to do in order to make that happen. But speaking of getting out, we have to get out of this segment, but not before thanking so much David Sheward, Vicki Quade, and Steve the Whistler Herbst. I wish you much music and theater and success and good things and health.
And Lena Burt-Miller.
Oh, what? And
Lena Burt-Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do I have one last dad joke from Steve to take us out of this?
Oh, please.
Dad joke?
A dad joke about movies, but I'll pick a topic. You seem to have one ready.
The only thing I was thinking is if we had a tie, we could have seen how much fun a 3-way would be.
Well, I made that joke before, so no fair stealing. That's plagiarism, my friend. Guys, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on Dave's Gone By. I've got to let you go individually, so have a wonderful week, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
As Rosemarie would say on the